Hello everyone, and I am back again playing Halo Campaign Evolved. Kind of like Forza Horizon 6, I kind of forgot that this game was coming up, and I wasn't really that excited by it. I wasn't too impressed by the fact that this game was running on Unreal Engine 5, and you can see there's a few bugs here. This is an example of one of those bugs, but it then quickly dawned on me that like Forza Horizon 6 and the Horizon series in general, like that's one of the most played games that I've played in the last 10 or so years. Uh, Without Halo, I wouldn't have owned an Xbox, and so I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll give this a go. I'll see how the remake handles. I'll see how it runs at 60 FPS, and I'll see if I have some fun. And the answer is, I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's a really fun shooter. I mean, it's Halo Campaign Evolved. It's the original Halo. I mean, that game in its original incarnation on Xbox or on PC, or the anniversary version, which I know a lot of people don't like. I've got a soft spot for it because it kind of reminds. It's just, I don't know. The time of it's almost like a period piece almost. It was from a different time. It was 343's first project. There was like optimism, or was there optimism? I mean, I guess I felt optimism regarding the future of Halo, and to an extent, people tend to bitch about games way too much these days, and the Halo series is definitely a victim of that. But for what it's worth, this is a really solid remake. I mean, there are some nice changes. There's some cool little things that they do there, here and there. And there's bonus levels, which I'll talk about a bit later. In fact, I actually did record footage for that, but I just wanted to record footage of the game's, level of the same name, Halo, because it's one of the most iconic levels in the series, and, I guess, can't really stand out anyway. No one watches my videos, and everyone who's probably done a video on this game has probably done this level at some point anyway. But alas, I feel like this game doesn't really rock the boat too much in terms of the gameplay mechanics. It still very much feels like classic Halo to an extent, although that being said, it feels a lot more like Halo Infinite's mechanics, obviously without that weird grappling hook that game had. I can't believe I didn't do a video on Halo Infinite now that I think about it, but that game was fine. I mean, I know a lot of people were a bit mixed on it, particularly with its very bare bones initial online launch, but I still feel like the initial launch period where there really wasn't a lot of content, that kind of reminded me a bit of playing Halo Combat Evolved with my cousin. Like, we'd literally cross-play between the Mac version and PC version, and we just dick around on these really barren maps, doing really basic, because of course Halo Combat Evolved is as a revolutionary shooter, but it's a very primitive shooter compared to modern first-person shooters. And I don't know, it just brought me back to that a little bit. And for that, I still really appreciate what it did. I know, obviously, it was, again, very threadbare, very bare bones, and you need a lot more content. But in that moment, it was just fun to play. And again, the gameplay mechanics of that game were rock solid. The campaign was fine. It was, better than Guardians at the very least. But, it wasn't really any better than Halo 4 or anything like that. I mean, Halo 4 is underrated, really, in terms of its campaign. That campaign was a good campaign. But yeah, I could pretty much, simply summarize this game by saying this is just Halo Combat Evolved with a Halo Infinite gameplay loop, but it's kind of not that either. There's a lot of little things that they've added to make this game a bit more accurate to Halo 2 and Halo 3, which I really appreciate. There's the Sentinel guns and all that sort of thing can be picked up, and I don't know, it's just just some nice improvements here and there that have really made this game just feel a bit more modern. And I guess that's sort of I guess it's the lone goal of a remake, is to modernize an older game and to make it more accessible and give it a fresh coat of paint and all that, and bring back all those old memories. And you see there, man, amazing stuff with the Warthog there. I mean, the Warthog mechanics, the Warthog physics will never change. I'm glad they didn't change those, because those are great. But it's just, I'm kind of at a loss for words really on how to describe this game, because it's just kind of weird that we're getting another remake. And again, people are buying the Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2 remasters to a far greater volume than they're buying this remake. We just had a lot of effort put into it. I know Unreal Engine 5 isn't great. I'm not a fan of it either. But I will give the developers, I think it's Virtuous who did this remake, I'll give them credit. This game runs really well on the Xbox Series X. And I didn't have a lot of slowdown. I've been doing the campaigns on Remixed, which includes a shit ton of enemies, which is a really fun part of the game, by the way. I arguably think that the Remixed campaign actually adds more to it than the bonus levels, which, again, I'll touch on very shortly. There's actually footage of those bonus levels. But I just think it's just a really cool way to just kind of go back through those levels, and the fact that you can play 4-player co-op. I mean, 2-player split screen's fine. It's a shame it's not 4-player split screen, but it's Unreal Engine 5. Everyone's Xbox would probably just spontaneously catch fire, and with the prices of Xboxes and game consoles at the moment, it's not like you can just easily get another one, because the rule of the land is that we're never going to have anything good happen to us for the rest of our lives. But at least we've got these games to kind of stem the tide until all hell breaks loose, right? So yeah, just to summarize, yeah, it's a good remake. Download it or buy it if you're on PlayStation, because PC and Xbox players get it on Game Pass and PlayStation users get it on none. And like going back to that, like if it wasn't for Halo, I wouldn't have owned an Xbox, and it still feels weird seeing it on play. Like it's not that strange given what Microsoft has been doing with Xbox in the last couple of years, but it is still a bit strange seeing it on PlayStation because Microsoft kind of waved the white flag and just went, yeah, we'll bring everything over, and then PlayStation's given us crumbs. Like we got Helldivers 2, which is sick, but there's not really a lot else that we've got really, and it's just a bit disappointing. I mean, of course, game development is so expensive these days, and I can't imagine that even it's just Halo Combat Evolved. I can't imagine this remake was cheap to develop either, but at least it's a good game. Like, again, it's just building upon what made the original Halo so great. Visual style's fantastic, gameplay's great. Again, I've just repeated those points already. I kind of want to touch on the bonus levels and how I feel about them. I feel a lot less positive about those, and that seems to have been... I don't even know if it was really like sort of a draw to get this remake. Was like, oh, you could play the new bonus levels. I hope it wasn't, because I don't know, I don't really like them all that much. I mean, for one, my Halo lore or Halo Combat Evolved loving us finds it a bit weird to see the battle rifle and brutes even in Halo Combat Evolved in general. But to me, this just kind of reminds me a bit of like Halo 2, or like that weird period when they were like when the Master Chief Collection came out, and when you started the Halo 2 Anniversary remake, you get that weird Halo 5 crossover cutscene. It feels a bit like just there's like a disconnect. And while I don't mind the visual style in these levels, and the levels just go on for way too long. Like, I know Halo Combat Evolved has some really lengthy levels, like the library, Assault on the Control, and kind of overstays its welcome, kind of doesn't really in a weird way. And the Silent Cartographer, I mean, that you can speedrun that level in less than 5 minutes, but if you're hopeless and you need the objective markers for everything in your life, you're going to probably have a shit time, but that's on you more than anything else. But it's just that these levels, they really look to pad these out. Like, there's really not a lot interesting going on. It kind of goes against the sort of like the atmosphere of the original Halo, because like Master Chief talks a lot more. It's more of like a buddy action shooter type thing than the sort of brooding isolation that was like Halo's OG campaign. I don't know. These just don't sit right with me. Like, they're fine. I'm happy they're there because it's more levels and more gameplay, and they're fun because it's the classic Halo formula. The gameplay's great, but it's just, yeah, again, just too long. It just doesn't fit thematically. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people are talking shit about this game, but this game isn't really all that bad. I know a lot of people like to outrage about everything and have an opinion on everything these days, but in the scheme of things, this game is fine. This game is a good remake. It is a classic game. It's still a lot of fun to play. I would fully recommend downloading it if you have the space, if you're on Game Pass, because it is a very fun shooter, and it's so much fun with friends. It's classic Halo. You can't really knock that back, but it's very difficult to knock that back. But, yeah, that basically wraps up my thoughts. I wish I'd say more, but I really don't have much else to say. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.